Hi, this is Mr. Smith, and in this video I'll be going over the syllabus for Math 1332, which is contemporary math or quantitative reasoning. Sounds kind of complicated, but really it's just practical applications of mathematics that relate to people these days. Things such as financial math and probability and statistics, for example. So anyway, the first thing it mentions here is that if you are contacting your instructor, you should hear back within 24 hours. Normally, I'm much quicker than that. In fact, sometimes you'll get a response right away, normally within an hour. But it does depend on my schedule. There may be times when I'm busy in the afternoon or at certain times, and so it may take a little bit longer. But generally speaking, I get back pretty quick. And if you look under instructor information here, you can see my name is Scott Smith, and I also go by 1T, which is my nickname. You can see my first name has just 1T, and so that's where that came from. And if you want to get a hold of me, email works really great. It comes directly to my phone, and so I get it right away. But if you want to have a conversation, or if you just want to talk, you can always call me at this phone number. You can either call me or you can text me there. And then finally here you have office hours. And you can see it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. and 4 to 4:30. So hopefully that will work for you at least one of those two times. The other thing I want to mention here is sometimes students look at that description, office hours, and they think, oh, that's Mr. Smith's hours. And in fact, these are really, a better description would be student hours. These are the times that we're guaranteed to be available to you. And so, well, I'll talk more when I make my video about how you can go to office hours. We'll be doing that virtually. And you can also call me at those times or email me, but I will also be available virtually. All right, so remember, those are student hours. You're not interrupting me. Those are for you. And so don't hesitate to use that free tutoring. So if you need to get a hold of the division office for some reason, there's a number here, but most likely you're going to be using this virtual office link, and you can meet with them virtually. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next page. There's two sections this semester that I'm teaching, 22006 and 22008. So when you send me an email, make sure I know which class you're in. And let's see, we have a certification date of February 1st. Basically, by that date, I have to indicate to the school which students are participating in the course. So I'll talk about certification a little bit later. And you can also see if for some reason you need to withdraw during the semester. The last day that you can do that is on Thursday, April 15th. And so sometimes students will, for whatever reason, they stop attending the course and they don't withdraw. And so what happens is you get an F. Sometimes students come back a couple years later and they find out they're on probation, academic probation, or it could be for financial aid. And so I just really encourage you, if for some reason you feel like you need to drop, first of all, I would encourage you to talk to me, but at the very least, make sure that you drop the course officially so you don't run into problems later on, because you never know what your future holds. Let's see, this is a course for the non-algebra types of majors, so and this is for people that are considered college ready. Required course materials. So in this year we started this. This is where for this course in particular, we use My Math Lab, which is an online program that also has the book. And so that's included in the cost of tuition. And so it's no longer done separately. So notice it says MyMathLab is an online textbook-based software where you will complete assignments. So you're going to need access to a computer and internet access. And really you should have your own computer because you're going to be doing a lot of assignments. And so you'll spend a fair amount of time on the computer each week. Notice here you may have to install some plugins when you first start using MyMathLab. I'm going to make a video where I go through eCampus and also MyMathLab and kind of show you around, and I'll show you these things when we get to there. To register for MyMathLab, you're just going to click on any MyMathLab link inside your eCampus course. And so again, I'll show you how to do that in the video. Finally, we do have one other thing that's not part of the tuition, and that is a calculator, and it's this TI-30XS a multi-view calculator. It's very important that you get this one if you can, because we're going to be doing some working with some challenging financial formulas, and this calculator really makes a difference for students. I think you can buy a calculator for under $10 these days, a scientific calculator, but this one, I think it's around $20, but it's worth the extra money, and you'll see why when we start doing those problems in that one section on finances. All right, let's look at procedures and policies. So I can't stress enough how important it is that you communicate, especially in these first 2 weeks. So important in an online course. Students sometimes are uncomfortable. They have questions, but they're afraid to ask those questions. And I just really would just tell you, hey, it's part of college. You got to do whatever it takes to be successful. And sometimes that just means you ask questions, even if you're not all that comfortable. I'll certainly do everything I can to make you feel comfortable and to be respectful in answering your questions. But it starts by you being willing to ask when you need help. So please don't hesitate to do that. You'll also have the ability to talk to other students in the course, so maybe you go there first. So whatever works for you, I just want to make sure that you're getting help when you need it and that you're getting off to a great start. Now I'll be making announcements throughout the semester, especially this first week. So you want to make sure you're getting those. They go to your school email. So it's really important that you make sure your email address in eConnect is correct. You should be receiving those announcements. And if not, that's a high priority item to get fixed, because it's not just in my course, but every course that you'll be taking at Brookhaven. You'll notice the course schedule is also included in the syllabus. The due dates for the assignments are also in MyMathLab as you're doing the assignments. And so, you might want to print out that schedule, and it's really nice to have that. But you'll also see the way I set up the course, it makes things pretty easy for you to follow along. And we already talked about using email or texting me to communicate. And again, if you could just let me know which course you're in when you send me any kind of emails, that way I know who or which course you're in. And next thing I want to talk about is attendance and participation. So this is that certification thing. In order for me to certify you as attending, you must complete with an average of 70%, assignments 1.1 through 1.3 and quiz 1 by January 24th. So for students receiving financial aid, if you're not certified as attending the course, this is likely to affect your financial aid. Certification has become a very important date at the school, so we just want to make sure students are getting off to a good start and they're actively participating in their course, especially if you're receiving some kind of financial aid. All right, let's move on to the next slide. And so you can see that graded work here includes homework, quizzes, tests, and a final. And you can see the percentages here. 10% for homework, 10% for quizzes. 4 tests make up 60% of your grade, or that's 15% each test. And then there is a final that's comprehensive, and that's 20%, or about 1/5 of your grade, so an important part of your grade. And you can see our grading percentages are the standard percentages. 90 to 100 is an A, and so on. Let's go ahead and move on to a description of the graded work. For homework, it says, for each homework assignment in my math lab, there will be a video link and a link to the assignment. Under the video link, you can view videos and PowerPoint notes. Use these to learn the material. And in doing that, I encourage you to take notes. It's very important. You really should have a notebook, and you can take notes, and then those can be available to you as you're doing your homework. When you do a homework problem, you're going to have 3 attempts to get it right, and then it's going to be marked wrong. You'll see a red X. By using the similar question feature, you'll get a new problem, and then you can have a chance to get it corrected. So what I'm telling you is you have the opportunity to get 100% on every homework assignment if you're willing to go back and correct anything that you miss. And the other thing that's available to you is there's a question help button. That's where you can access the book and the book's videos, or videos that are part of the author and the book package. And there's also step-by-step help, and there's a way to email me. So you can email me a problem, and I can see exactly what you're looking at, and you can also ask whatever question you have. And then a lot of times I'll either respond by just writing a solution and sending that back, or I may make a video. And you can see, again, homework's 10% of your grades. Now quizzes, notice these are timed. In my mind, they're like your practice for a test. If you're doing well on the quizzes, that's an indication that you're probably going to be okay and ready for the test. If you're not doing so well, then that's an indication you need to maybe do something a little bit different, take better notes, whatever it's going to take so that you're doing well on the quizzes, so that you know you're prepared for the test. You will have up to 2 attempts, and I'll take your highest score on the quizzes. So again, we talked about the tests. The final has 33 questions. Let's look at attendance. So you should expect to spend about 6 to 9 hours a week on this course. And so I would encourage you to plan accordingly. There are some resources in my math lab in terms of taking an online course and transitioning to college. So those are available if you're interested, especially for students that have never taken an online course before. All right, late work policy. So you can see homework, quizzes, reviews, and tests are usually due by 11:59 midnight, or right before midnight on Sundays, unless otherwise noted on the calendar. There are a couple times when you have things due on a Thursday. Anything that's late gets half credit. Now, once you've taken a test, after you take the test, you cannot do any of the assignments that came before that test. And so it's really important that you're getting those all done. In fact, everything, the homeworks, the quizzes that come before the test are there to prepare you for that test. So once you've passed the test, you can't go back before that. And then the other thing I want to mention is if you miss a test for some reason, you should contact me right away. If you do that, I can maybe be a little bit flexible with you depending on the circumstances, but it's really important that you're staying on schedule and you're getting the test done on time. And I've set things up so that you can get ahead of the game, or work a little bit ahead, so that might make things a little bit easier for you as far as having flexibility. Institutional policies. Now, if you haven't read these, they talk about things like disability services and Title IX and other policies at the school. You ought to go in here at least once and look through those and just make sure you understand what's there. And so that's important that you take care of that. And I can't remember if I talked about this, but I just want to remind you to make sure that you look through the whole syllabus at least once to make sure that you've seen all the things that are in there. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. The last thing I want to show you here is the start of the calendar. If you look in my math lab, you're going to find that you can get into the first 2 weeks, and so you can see that stuff that's due on the 24th is right there. And so the course is laid out by week, and when you go into my math lab, you're going to be doing things by week. And you'll notice our first test is week 4. All right, well, I think that's about all I want to say, or all the things I wanted to highlight. If you have any questions about the syllabus, just send me an email or give me a call, and I'll be glad to clarify. And again, I hope you have a great semester.